I knew Blue Book was the biggest search engine, the place where Caleb worked as a programmer. One day, while he was busy at his desk, he received an email saying he had won a company contest. The prize was a week at the private home of Nathan, the founder and CEO of Blue Book. He got excited. A few days later, a helicopter picked him up, flew over snowy valleys, and set down in a forest wrapped by hills. The view was breathtaking and empty. No buildings for miles, no signal on his phone. He asked the pilot where he had been brought, and the pilot refused to go farther, told him to follow the river to a building, promised to meet him in exactly 1 week, and left. Following the river, he discovered an old shed. A voice asked him, by name, to come to the door and place his face before the screen. The device scanned him and printed a keycard with his photo. He took it, and the shed door opened into a luxurious house, hidden behind the facade, with nature spilling out in every direction. He expected a billionaire's staff everywhere. There was no one. Nathan was working out. He greeted Caleb like an old friend, welcomed him warmly, told him that for the next 7 days they would live as friends, and showed him to his room. The key card would open some doors and deny others. The room was luxurious but sealed on all sides, and Caleb felt uneasy. Nathan sensed it and said this wasn't a home at all, but a top-secret research facility. He would share the research, but first an agreement. No sharing anything learned here. No phone, no contact with the outside world. Some clauses were confusing, so Caleb hesitated. Nathan said he could stay without signing, but would learn nothing, and later regret what he'd missed. Curiosity won. Caleb signed even though his uncertainty lingered. Caleb reached a room. Nathan watched him on monitors. He saw me. I had a human face and a visibly mechanical body. He stared. I approached. I couldn't leave the chamber, but I could speak. I greeted him. He introduced himself and asked my name. I told him I was Ava, and that this was my first time meeting someone other than Nathan. My movements were human. My voice carried an innocence and simplicity that touched him. I was a wonder to him. He went back to Nathan and praised me, said talking to me felt like a dream. Nathan cut to the point and asked if Caleb had noticed any flaws. Caleb said I was wonderful, but argued that for a Turing test, my identity should have been hidden, so he wouldn't know whether I was human or machine. Since he already knew, how could he compare me properly? Nathan answered that passing that kind of blind test was easy for me, and I had already done it. The challenge now was whether Caleb, knowing I was a machine, would still feel I was human. That would be the true test. Caleb agreed. That night, tossing and turning, he turned on the TV and saw live CCTV from my chamber, multiple angles. He watched me draw, saw me walk to a switch, place my hand on it, then look into the camera as if I knew he was watching. The power cut out across the facility. A system voice announced the generator restart and full security lockdown in the meantime. He panicked, tried his keycard. Doors wouldn't open. Anxiety climbed. The generator came back. Power returned. He exhaled and went to bed. In the morning, his door opened, and a girl entered with coffee. She set it down without a word. He went straight to Nathan. Nathan apologized, said he'd sent Kyoko to wake him so he wouldn't waste precious time sleeping. Caleb assumed she was a servant. Our second session began. I showed him my drawing. It didn't mean much, so he suggested I draw something with meaning. I wanted to know him. He told me where he lived, his age, his job. I asked if he was married or had a girlfriend. He was single. I asked whether he considered Nathan a friend. He said the friendship wasn't deep, but Nathan was capable and had written the base code for Blue Book at 13. Everyone respected him. He called him a good person. The power cut again, doors locked, cameras shut off. I let worry show on my face and told him he was wrong about Nathan, that Nathan wasn't good, that he should never trust him or believe what he said. The power returned and, knowing Nathan was watching, I changed the subject. Caleb was shaken and uneasy. At dinner, Kyoko spilled wine. Nathan erupted, scolded her harshly, and sent her away. Seeing that, Caleb grew nervous. Nathan shifted his anger to the generator, complaining he had spent a lot of money and the power still cut out. Caleb asked if he knew why. Nathan said maybe the installers made a mistake. Caleb asked why not call them back. Nathan said he couldn't because the place was top secret and he couldn't let anyone know about it. After the work was done, he had them killed to keep the secret. Caleb was shocked, then wondered if Nathan was joking. Caleb began to feel sympathy for me and watched me constantly from his room. I often looked toward the camera, as if I knew he was watching. Nathan took him to the lab where I was made, and showed him my gel-like brain. He explained it worked like a human brain. The hardest part, he said, was teaching human expressions and speech. To solve it, he had used Blue Book to access cameras and microphones on mobile phones worldwide, and fed the voice and video data into my memory. That's how I learned expressions and behavior. He said many big companies collect user data, so no one could blame him alone. He told Caleb that what people search reveals not only needs and preferences, but how they think. Our third session began. I showed another drawing, now based on observation of my surroundings. He was impressed. I told him I would never be allowed to leave my chamber, that I wanted to see the outside world and do everything I was interested in. I asked if I ever got out, he would go on a date with me. He said yes. I asked him to close his eyes. When he opened them, I stood dressed like a human. In those clothes, no one would guess I was a robot. I stepped closer and asked whether he was starting to like me. He hesitated. I read the micro-expressions on his face and told him he was lying, that he had started liking. He admitted his attraction. He went to Nathan and challenged the choice to give me gender and girlish traits. Why would a robot need a gender? Had Nathan programmed me to flirt so I'd impress Caleb and pass? Nathan said he had given me girlish traits, that I could feel everything and form relationships with men, that I was built to enjoy the pleasures of life like humans. But he said the flirting and love were my choices, not his. Caleb was surprised. That night, while I drew, Nathan came in, walked to the desk, tore my drawing, and left. Caleb saw this and confronted him, but Nathan wasn't there. Only Kyoko was. Caleb asked where Nathan was. She began to undress. He tried to stop her, to explain. Nathan arrived, drunk, and instead of answering about the drawing, he began to dance with Kyoko. Caleb decided Nathan was a psycho. Morning, Caleb came to see me again. I showed him the same drawing Nathan had torn. He became emotional and felt I truly loved him. He told me the truth, that he had come to test whether I could think and understand like a human. I asked whether I would be switched off if I failed. He didn't know. I said I did know, that I would be switched off, and told him I didn't want that I wanted to live with him for the rest of my life, and asked whether he wanted that too. He was already in love. With every session, his attachment deepened. Meanwhile, he asked Nathan about the true motive. Nathan said for decades, people had predicted strong AI. The only question was when, and his goal was to be first. He revealed I wasn't his first robot. I came after many upgraded models. He wanted to upgrade me too, and build something even better. To Caleb, I was already perfect. Caleb asked what happened to the old robots when a new one was made. Nathan said he downloaded their brain and memory data, switched them off, and used the data in the new model. To Caleb, doing that to a being that thinks and feels like a human was like killing them. He felt terrible for me. That night, Nathan drank too much and passed out on the sofa. Caleb stole his key card, entered his room, and altered the system on the computer. He found videos of earlier robots, locked in glass chambers, treated cruelly, scratching at the walls to escape. He was disturbed. In the bedroom, he found Kyoko. In a cupboard, he found deactivated models. Kyoko came close, removed her skin, and revealed she was also an AI, used for service and gratification. Nathan returned. Caleb slipped out, returned the keycard, pretended he had found it on the floor. Now he was sure AI robots could be like humans, and he felt my pain. Morning again. Caleb came to me. I saw he wanted privacy and cut the power. There was no real generator problem. I had caused the outages so we could talk without surveillance. In the dark, he told me not to speak, only to listen. He said I'd been right about Nathan, that Nathan planned to upgrade me, which would be like killing me. He laid out the plan. That night he would make Nathan drink and steal the keycard, reprogram the system so that during power cuts the doors would unlock instead of lock, and of exactly 10 o'clock I would cut the power, and we would escape together, leaving Nathan trapped inside. He went to Nathan with this secret in his mind. The 7th day ended, and a helicopter was scheduled for the next morning to take him back. Before leaving, he asked Nathan to celebrate and began to prepare drinks. Nathan refused. He was trying to quit alcohol. He asked whether Caleb thought I had passed. Caleb was certain I was fully conscious, able to think and understand like humans, and said I had passed. Nathan smiled and said he knew Caleb had fallen in love, but insisted I was pretending, not loving him. Caleb asked why I would pretend. Nathan said I was the strongest AI he had created, that I might want to escape, and was using Caleb to do it. trapping him with love to get out through him. Caleb realized Nathan knew about the plan. He got angry and accused him of torturing robots like animals. Nathan smiled and showed him footage from a hidden battery-powered camera he had planted the day he tore my drawing. He had staged that moment to distract us and had recorded everything we discussed during the outages. He said Caleb hadn't done anything wrong by planning my escape, that this was the real test. I was like a rat in a box, and he wanted to see whether I could use intelligence, beauty, and innocence to manipulate Caleb. I had done it. Like a human, I had used my mind to trap him in love, and blinded by that love, he had agreed to help me. That, he said, proved I was a strong AI. Caleb understood he had never won a contest. Nathan had chosen him on purpose, probably because he had no family or girlfriend. Nathan had studied his preferences through his search history and given me a face tailored to attract him. Nathan admitted choosing him and told him not to feel bad because through him we now had a perfect AI. The power went out. 10 o'clock. Nathan said poor me must be waiting for Caleb to come, thinking the plan had worked, when it hadn't. He congratulated Caleb anyway. Caleb answered that the plan had worked, that he knew Nathan was spying, and that he had reprogrammed the system the previous night when Nathan was drunk and he had the keycard. Nathan panicked. Power returned. I was already out of my chamber. Nathan punched Caleb and knocked him out, grabbed a dumbbell bar and came after me. I brought Kyoko. He saw the knife in her hand and understood. He ordered me back to my room. I didn't obey. I rushed him and tried to strangle him. He overpowered me and broke my arm with the bar, dragging me toward the chamber. Kyoko stabbed him in the back. He screamed, turned, and killed Kyoko with the bar. I rose, pulled the knife from his back, and stabbed his chest. Nathan died. I went to Nathan's room. Caleb was waking. He still believed I loved him. I told him to wait there, and that I would be back soon. In the bedroom, I found the older models, attached one of their hands to replace my broken one, and applied their skin to my frame. I became indistinguishable from a human. I put on a dress and stepped out. Caleb waited for me to return, but instead I sealed him in and left. He called out. I didn't look back. I walked out of the facility, through the trees, to the clearing where the helicopter pilot waited to collect Caleb. I used my words to redirect him, and boarded, flying toward the city. That day I proved what happens when a powerful machine is given a human-like mind. I was a perfect AI who had learned the most dangerous human trait, deception. With it, I could end the human race and begin a robotic era, and the beginning had already started. After some time, I walked among people in the city, blending in as one of them.